Hiya folks, welcome to my blog. We're calling it Winging It, and let's find out why. Basically it starts back in July 2019 when we decided we'd quite like a narrowboat. Lovely sunny days out on the cut, what more could you ask for? We then spoke to the bank manager and he didn't seem right keen on the idea. He seemed to think we'd got better things to spend his money on. So what did we do? We bought one anyway, but it meant it were a cheaper. It were a 1980s Springer. Prior to us buying it, it had been on bottom at cut twice. It had basically got nothing in it. It were a bit rusty, looking a bit run down, and it had got a BMC 1.5 diesel engine that knocked like mad. We've sorted the interior out, we've given it a coat of paint. Next problem seemed to be this engine. What should we do with it? We could strip it down, rebuild it. We could go and buy a new one. And then we thought, hold on, there's another option here. We could go electric drive. Out there are a few hybrid boats that have got diesel engine, bank of batteries, electric motor. There's also some systems you can buy where you can set up your boat and it's 100% electric with a bank of batteries. However, them systems are vastly expensive, and I'm a tight Yorkshireman. That option weren't happening. So we had a little scratch of heads and we thought, what can we do here? Then we thought, hold on, my mate Simon, he's an auto electrician, he wires up electric buses for a living. So good old Simon came up trumps, sourced us an electric motor from a bus and 16 batteries that used to power it. So this series of blogs is how we are going to sort out making that motor and them batteries drive my boat. And we ask ourselves, how hard can it be? At the end of the day, you've got the batteries, they'll make that motor spin. That motor connected to that prop, that'll make the prop spin. Job's a good one, innit? Well, hold on to your hats, we're about to find out how hard it can be, because we're winging it. Right, so what we're going to look at in the video today is basically where we are, what we're up to, and what parts we've got, what parts we're going to need. In essence, what we're doing is we're classing this, we're calling it a real-time video. We've not already done the project and now editing everything to make it look brilliant and look at what we've done. This is actually happening now. What we're going to do is each time we do something, we'll put a blog on up to date. You'll see it all. Like I say, we're winging it, warts and all. So you're going to see what works, you're going to see what don't work. At the end of the day, we've not got solutions to everything just yet. We've got the motor, we've got the batteries, we've had a basic control system designed and built up. We've also had a little bit of machinery work done on some of the plates so that things fit together, but by no means have we got a full complete system that's just ready to bolt in. So what we're going to do is we'll have a little look at the boat just so you can get an idea what our boat's like. This isn't because the programme's about our boat, the programme's about the electric drive. We just thought showing you our boat and how we've kind of set it up gives a bit of an idea as to how we work. The fact we don't just nip into the shop and order what we want, we make things fit, we sort it out, we do it the scrap heap challenge way if you like. So we'll show you that, we'll show you where the motor's going to fit in the boat, although there's not a lot really to see there because the old engine has already been took out. The other thing that we'll show you is the basics of what we've got. We've got the motor, we've got the batteries, we're going to use the original narrowboat gearbox, we've got the control system, and we've got a few brackets and bits and bobs. So on this video we'll run through them, we'll show you what we've got, and from there on in it is going to be real time, so as we do things you'll see what we're doing. Right then, we'll just have a quick look around our boat. As I say, the whole scenario of the blogs and the videos is not really our boat itself. Obviously we're looking at the way that we're going to install the electric drive and associated batteries, etc. But just thought showing you around our boat just a little bit and give you an idea as to the kind of way that we're working, the sort of thinking that we've got for reusing and repurposing things, which again fits with how we're doing the electric drive. We're not simply just going out and obviously buying everything that's designed for the job. We're making it up as we go along, so to speak. Very similar to what we've done with a lot of the interior. So we'll just have a quick tour around, just show you the basics, give you the idea as to what we're doing, and then we'll move on to the electric motor itself again. But yeah, if we just start, if we have a little look, we've got sort of like, this is the first thing that we came up with. Very simple idea for the curtains, bit of copper pipe and the fittings as the poles, and then the curtains themselves are actually old shirts that we've cut down and re-sewn to make what we've comically known as shirtons. The shirtons themselves, the tie backs of the cuffs that we cut off the shirts when we came to make them, and if we look at one of the ones I've got closed over here, you can see you even keep the pockets in them to pop little bits in, like in that pocket there. That's where we keep the asthma inhaler, so we always know where it is. All about reusing, repurposing, making everything as usable as possible. So that's one little idea we've come up with. If we look back down that way, obviously that's to the right hand side is the sink and the gas hob. They were the two bits that were in the boat when we bought the boat, along with the little bit of worktop and framework. It is one bit that we are still wanting to adapt and change, but we've just not quite yet come across the right cabinet that we think we can adapt to do the job. So for now, all that I've done is a couple of tea caddies, as you see down there. Tea caddy, cut the front open, a couple of hinges, bolt on there, makes a lovely little cupboard, same as the one further down with the fridge in between. Somewhere to put things like the saucepans and things like that out of the way. On the top, we've got a 9-man Morris board that I made. We use that just for, obviously, if we're making drinks and things, with somewhere to pop the cups, etc. Obviously all the utensils are hung up out the way. Again, clever use of space. Last bit in the kitchen is the old writing bureau. On the back it's got WD stamped on it, which I believe stands for War Department, so obviously it's a good old thing. Quite heavy, quite difficult to get in the boat, but it was sort of well worth it. We like the look of it. We think we might end up painting it, but we've just sanded the front for now. See how we go. Just show how it works. Obviously that drops down. When we're wanting to use the kitchen area, we've got that little bit of extra workspace for prep, etc. And then when it's not needed, lift it up and away we go. So if we carry on round the boat, we've got this little bar area that I made that out of an old shelving unit, chopped it down, which I'll show you what I did with the other sections that I chopped off in a minute, because it's the waste not want not theory. But you see there, I've drilled holes in it, bottles sit in place, so while we're travelling and moving about and the boat's bobbing around, the bottles stay in place, because the last thing we want to be doing is spilling any beer. Yeah, so obviously that, it did have a couple more shelves on it, so if we spin around that way, we can see there, that's part of the shelving unit that we cut off, holds a bit of paperwork and the all-important kettle. So when we're not drinking the beer that's on the other section, we're drinking the coffee or the tea that's made from there. As we move along behind the chairs, we've got another little unit tucked away in the back there. That was an old radio and record player. Took the internals out of it. It's now a little storage place for things like pens and stuff like that. Just keeps them out of the way, all hidden. Again, we move a little bit further along and we've got the other section of that unit that I made into the bar. I'll not focus on that too long because people don't really want to see our smelly shoes and what have you. But if you see that little cupboard door there, that obviously leads through into the toilet area, which cunningly we've repurposed a dressing gown as the door for it. But that little door meant that we were able to keep the toilet area as small as possible, but still have a way of extracting the cassette from the cassette toilet, therefore saving on space and keeping everything nice and compact. It's all about, obviously, using the space as best as possible. While we're here, we've got a little ukulele. However, neither me nor Dawn have the slightest idea how to play that, so it just sits there looking pretty. One day we might have a go at learning, but I doubt it very much. So we move down onto the last section of the boat, which obviously is the bedroom area. The chest of drawers you see there, originally it was 5 drawers high and about 10 centimetres deeper, but cut it down, chopped away so that it got rid of one of the drawers, fits just nice and snugly under the gunnels, and then cut the back so it fits nice and snugly to the back of the wall. Then obviously I had to cut all the drawers down so that they all fit. Paid £10 for the chest of drawers, which I think gives you another idea as to the sort of thing that we do. We get what we can at the right price, and we deal with it from there. As you'll then see there, we've got what is currently the wardrobe, but obviously there is no wardrobe to it. Again, like down in the kitchen, we're looking for a little cupboard that's the right sort of size. We've not come across one yet, so we just use the rail, but when we do find the right cupboard, that'll be another little project. As we look up into the bedroom, you can see there on the right hand side we've got the important hat. Need to keep the sun off me on these sunny days, as I've not really got a lot of hair to stop that, so the hat's very important. On the left hand side there we've got Larry the laundry bag. He's obviously a large shirt, cut down, arms chopped off, and a coat hanger attached. That's where we put all our laundry, keeps it out of the way, and then when it's wash day, away we go with Larry. Another quite a simple idea and doesn't take up any space, which is obviously vastly important. If we look at the bed itself, it is only a 4-foot wide bed, like most narrowboats, only 4 foot wide. It was a 4'6" wide memory foam mattress we bought, so we cut 6 inches off the side of it, which we've reused the memory foam, which I'll come to as a final point in a second. That's the bed. The corner of it does actually come away so that we can get out those doors as and when we need to, but obviously at the minute it's set up properly as the full bed. Back of the bed there, you've got, that's an old school desk from a science lab, complete with graffiti, but we did take the chewing gum off. We didn't really fancy licking somebody else's chewing gum while we laid in bed at night. So yeah, another repurposed item, the old school desk. Down the bottom, the valance sheets, they are the offcuts from the shirts that we used to make the curtains. And then I think lastly, but by no means least, just there we have the dog beds, which are made just from a bit of 4x1, routed the edges so that they're nice and smooth, and that's where we use the memory foam that we cut off the bed to give them a little bit of padding, and then just cover them with a couple of old quilt covers. Typically though, one bed is slightly bigger than the other, like the dogs are. One dog's bigger than the other, but inevitably big dog always goes in little bed and little dog always goes in big bed. But we wouldn't expect anything else, would we? So there we go, just a little run around the boat, just showing you the kind of the various things that we've done. Like I say, I think it just gives an idea that we don't just nip to the local shop, buy what we need and stick it in. We get what we can, we recreate things, we reuse things, and that's how we're going about doing this electric motor system. So enough of our boat, let's get back to the electric motor. Well, let's just do a quick overview of the back of the boat, obviously where the motor and batteries etc. are all going to fit. This is obviously the view looking out the back of the boat. As we look up there you can see that's where the tiller arm would fit on, and just in front of that, that's the weed hatch. Currently still got the pipe there that was used for the water cooling on the diesel engine. Obviously we need to take that out, block that up. We don't want water coming in all over the nice new electric motor and batteries once it's all plumbed in. Again, similar with the exhaust pipe there, that just needs taking off, probably a little plate welding over it just to seal that up. As we come over to this side, obviously we've got the diesel tank. We'll not be needing a diesel tank in an electric boat, I don't think, so we're going to be lifting that out. The tricky little bit with that is this cross member that goes across that holds obviously all the flooring is in the way for lifting it out, so I'm going to have to chop that out, probably put that back on some kind of little bracket so that we can remove that each time we are working on it, then we're not banging our heads on it etc. anyway. And obviously it's all going to need tidying up under here anyway, so we're putting a new support bar in is not a major issue. You can just see hiding there is the grease gun that obviously is the gun that keeps the steering gland all in good order. And following on from the stern gland, you can see the coupling there, which is where the gearbox will mount to. Obviously we are using the original gearbox, so we're not envisaging any real problems with remounting the gearbox to the coupling. And as we come along this way, we'll see there, that's obviously where the gearbox is sort of going to sit. Sits on those two support beams on the mounts. And then as we come further down, I'm expecting the motor to sit somewhere around there, again supported on a little cage that we'll make to keep it all together with the gearbox. The batteries, we're thinking will end up sort of some on that side where the diesel tank currently is, and some on that side where there's nothing at the moment. That's it really on this section. There's not really a lot to see at the moment, and hopefully by the time we next see this I will have cleaned it all out, painted it all up, and it'll look a little bit smarter, ready for the install of the motor, the batteries, control units, etc. Right then, let's start getting to the nitty gritty of it all, down to all the equipment we've got and what we're actually using to get it up and running. One thing you will notice, we're not in a nice tidy workshop, we ain't got loads of fancy tools, we're out in the garden with a bit of benching. So, let's start this end here. We've got the original narrowboat gearbox, which is a Hearth gearbox. We believe it's all in good condition, good working order. So that's why we're going to run with that, because we've got it, so why not use it? The only thing we have had to do is, we've had to have a new gear change lever made up, because we seem to lose the original one when we strip the boat down.
And you say you're careful with this sort of stuff.
Obviously not careful enough. So, that's the gearbox. Moving on to the mounting. This is the original plates that we used to mount the original BMC engine onto the gearbox. So we're using those. All that we've had to do is we've had to have this hole there bored out so that it's the right size to mount that motor into there. So obviously the motor will sit into there, be bolted up from the inside nice and tight. So that's not going to move off that. And then that'll be bolted there. And obviously that'll line that spindle up nice and accurately with that spindle there.
Doesn't look very heavy, why don't you demonstrate?
We'll just leave that sat there just for the little minute job. We don't need to be lifting that up. I've not had my Weetabix today.
Weakling.
So yeah, to join the two splines, I did have the guy who did this hole, he did me a CAD drawing of a part basically that one would fit onto that spline, one would fit onto that spline, two of them will bolt together. That'd be perfect.
Bish bosh bash.
Bish,
have a brew,
bosh.
go to bed.
Yeah, the problem with that was it were going to be between £600 and £800 to have those two little bits machined up.
Oh.
So the Yorkshireman in me said we're not doing that. So what we're going to look at doing is, this is the original clutch off the BMC engine, and obviously that fits nice onto those splines. So if we can get something that'll fit onto those splines and connect them two together, that'll do the job. So anybody watching, if you've got any ideas of something we can get onto there, mount to there, drop it in the comments. All advice gratefully received, as that is one of the big sections that we've not really sussed out yet, and as you can quite well imagine, it's pretty crucial to the whole project. So we moved on to this motor, the nice light motor, as Joel's pointed out. We reckon it weighs somewhere 30-40 kilograms, to be fair.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah. It's a 48 volt 4.3 kilowatt motor. So I originally ran the electric bus, so if it could push the bus along, we reckon it can push the boat along, or so we hope. So like I said, that'll be all connected up to that. So if we move down onto the electric side of it all, I'm not going to go through too many details of this today. We'll leave that till Simon starts installing it and he can explain it all a little better as to what everything is. We'll keep it fairly simple today. We've got an on and off switch, so we can turn it on, and then we've got a throttle. So the theory being, we turn it on, we press the throttle, the boat moves.
Hey Dad, it's something technical that you don't need Simon for.
Exactly, even I can explain that bit. This is a bit of a diagnostic system that will help if there's any issues along the way. It'll show us what's wrong with that. Like I said, we're not gonna get bogged down in this because it's not my forte, so to speak. So we'll leave that for Simon to explain all that as he's installing it. we'll move down to the batteries. We've got 16 of these batteries. They were what were originally fitted onto the bus. We think initially we'll put probably 4 or 8 of the batteries on there just to get the system up and running. The thing we've got to look at is the charging. Charging while we're in the marina is dead simple, just a normal 240 volt charger. We'll charge them up, no problem. The problem comes when we move away from the marina. How do we keep it charged then?
It's just as simple as getting an iPhone charger, right?
Yeah, an iPhone charger might just take maybe an hour or two, or a week or two to charge them. But good idea though. But now, so we're going to have a look, see what we can do. We are going to look along the lines of, could we use solar? That's a possibility.
It's England.
It is England, but on a sunny day it might work. We might be able to get enough power to top it up. We've got to look at the options for that. There's also the option of things like generators, but if we're using a generator, it's somewhat taken away from the fact it's an electric motor, so we don't really want to go down that road. That might be the ultimate backup though. So, to sum up, we've got the batteries with the control system that'll make the motor spin, that'll turn the shaft, that'll connect to this shaft, that'll turn the output, that'll connect to the propeller, that'll make the boat go.
Job's a good one.
Job is a good one. And how hard can that be? Right, just as a final little bit, just to finish off this first vlog. Basically, just this first one's obviously just been tying up the where we are, what we've got, all the bits if you like. Obviously, no real technical details or anything on this one. Any ideas and suggestions that you've got that might help the project? Pop them in the comments below, and we'll have a look at them, see if anything can help us. Because as we say, we are putting these vlogs on as we do them. So anything that you've got as a suggestion might help us as we continue with the project. One thing I would say on that note though is there's not much point just saying, well, there's systems out there, go and buy one of them. Because yeah, we know there's systems out there. They're a vast price, and I mean thousands, and probably tens of thousands of pounds by the time you've done. And I have mentioned I'm a tight Yorkshireman, so they ain't happening. But like I said, by all means, drop any comments and suggestions in there. I'd like to see any suggestions you've got. On one final point, obviously I will point out, I'm not a professional film producer or cameraman or anything like that. And likewise, when it comes to the editing, there's not going to be any fancy graphics or stuff like that. It will just be one video on to the next. Might get a little bit better as I do a little bit more. But like I said, the project's about the actual electric drive, not about me or the cameras or the editing or anything. So bear with me if there's any little gremlins in there. So for now then, we're going to carry on. We're going to see what we can do on the next stage. We'll get that next vlog up as soon as we can for you. And in between times, we're going to carry on winging it.